Welcome back, guys. My name is Abu Azeez, and you are on to the Abu Azeez Podcast. Today happens to be one day where they sweet me well because the person where they here with me happens to be my biggest guest. No disrespect to every other friend that has been here, but I need to give respect to this person. Na big shoe, na big size, na legend, na MON, na this, na that. And I did so opportuned to invite one of the biggest Super Falcons player in history to the Abu Azeez Podcast. And I would like make she use her hand, introduce herself, tell my listeners, tell my viewers who she be before we continue from there. Big name. Welcome to the Abu Azeez Podcast.
Now we there. Yeah, it's your girl, Desire Oparanozie, former Super Falcons player. Former Super Falcons captain, Desire Oparanozie.
Welcome, big name, and I did very, very happy. Say, I call you, you answer. Many times, it did very, very hard for people to get people like you around them, especially media, for you to come talk about some of the things where you don't face when you start, during your play, and now when you don't already stop. So I believe say today na sweet day for us, and don't forget na 2 episodes now we get. You there with me, Abi?
I there with you.
100.
102.
So my listeners, and before I will start, I would like make on anytime we on a one lodge or on a need any service apartment, as long as Lagos is concerned, there is this service apartment in Lagos. They call it 99 apartment. It is one of the best service apartments you can get out there. It is home away from home. They are the proud sponsor of this particular episode. Whenever you feel like you know one day house, 99 apartment happens to be where you should be. So Desire, anytime we know one day house, 99 apartment.
Seriously, I they give them serious thought to. I mean, I've had a lot of family time this past 2 weeks, and I'm actually thinking of escape routes. So maybe I will consider it.
No worry. You have to consider it. So really. Let's start this way. Every footballer out there, then they get challenges where they don't face, either when them start or during their time of play. You, for instance, when you wanted to start playing football, what are some of the challenges you faced that time we just want to start?
Oh, a lot. There are a lot of challenging factors. Too many of them. Discouragement, because as a girl child, playing football is something, coming from an African home, is something they feel a girl shouldn't do. Yeah, football is not one of them. That's the belief then, growing up. So I had that challenge to deal with, pressure from my family, my dad, my mom, my siblings, and everyone around me that time. So that was one challenge that, I still can't explain how I was able to, to come out of it. But good a thing I was able to convince them, with time, and I was stubborn about it, and my dad finally gave his consent at the end of the day. So that's one challenge, wanting to be a professional footballer. And another thing is the stereotype, in this part of the world where there are a lot of stereotype labeling you one thing or the other because you're a girl doing sports. They call you all kinds of names. You look so masculine. Stuff like that. So those stereotypes are one thing we've also had to deal with, and the fact that it's embarrassing. I haven't said it before now, but sometimes when I interact with people and then they make comments like, whoa, you sound brilliant. Like we have this notion that footballers, they can't even express themselves and all of that. It's not a compliment to me. It's I mean, for lack of a better word, I feel is insulting to my other colleagues because I don't know what they've seen in the past or stuff like that, but I think it's one stereotype that I think that shouldn't be. I mean, it's disrespectful to my profession and to my other colleagues. So those are the things we've had to deal with during the course of this career and everything. And another challenge is injury woes. Sometimes that's the biggest nightmare when you have to stay on the sidelines and watch because you can't play because you're injured and all of that.
Inevitable.
It is inevitable, but some people are lucky, throughout the course of their career they haven't had to go through surgeries and have major injuries and all of that. Some people are lucky and some other they are not. Those are some of the challenges.
Yeah, during the quest of your response, you made mention of masculine. While growing up, or when you decided that you want to take football as your profession, how did your parents feel like this one we want to play ball? So next thing you go be like, man. How your parents they react to that particular part? Say you go be like, man.
It is what it is. I mean, it's the same. My mom, she was more afraid of me being injured than anything else.
Really?
But looking masculine is also part of it. But the thing is, it's not every one of us that
becomes like masculine.
Exactly. Yes. I think it's a generic something. Because I have other colleagues who go through the same training process and everything, and then you don't see them build up so much muscle and all of that. So it's nature. And then when one thing I want people to understand is when they see athletes, sport people who look very masculine and all of that, I think they should be accorded more respect because instead of discriminating against them or talking down on them, they should understand that these people go through a lot, to, perform at the highest level. And for them to perform at the highest level, there is a process, there is a rigorous training they have to go through, and all that should be put into perspective, and they should be respected for the work they put in day out to perform at the highest level and all of that. So more respect should be given to them instead of discriminating against them and talking down on them.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Desire. Many people, some of my listeners, some of my viewers, they didn't even know you played in the Nigeria League before you traveled.
Oh, okay.
But my listeners, my viewers, in case you don't know, Desire Oparanozie, she played for Delta Queens, she played for Bayelsa Queens in Nigeria before she traveled out. Now, when you play Nigeria League, and now we people they play Nigeria League, what are the difference between then and now?
Oh, I think the difference between then and now is then if I'm totally honest, there hasn't been that much difference, but we're not where we used to be then, and in terms of bringing in sponsors, corporate bodies to help grow the team and all, the league and all of that. So I think then we could hardly see any corporate entity coming out to support the league. Yeah, but now we have some of those. I know it's not as much as we would have wanted it to, but we're not where we used to be. So, and then I think there's still room for improvement.
Yeah.
A lot of room for improvement. We need to get more corporate bodies to get involved. We need to create more awareness for the women's league. We need to educate people more about the women's, because I mean, a lot of people don't even know we have an existing women's league in Nigeria.
Yeah, sure,
you know, so we have to, create more education for people to actually, participate in all of that. And then the other day I was having this conversation with someone, and I think they were talking about Bet Niger and all of that. And we have the MPFL games on Bet Niger, and then we also have some of these leagues in Europe, like French league, Spanish league, yeah. German league. Yeah. There are female teams on Bet Niger, and then we can, ours is not
so
there.
It means we haven't promoted it to that.
Bet Niger is I think is a native company in Nigeria. Yeah, sure. If you're to judge by the name,
yes.
Do you understand? So we should have our women's league. I don't know if people responsible for that company, they should really, put it into consideration and put the women's team on that platform. Okay. That way you create more awareness for even players.
People will be able to know that, okay, this is really happening.
Yeah. So I think, that we have 1,000,001 things to, to do to improve the women's league.
Our listeners and our viewers, they don't hear them now. So I believe, as you don't talk them now, they don't hear from the us mouths now. Them go understand. So, Desire, another thing where I want to know be say, when you begin to play Nigeria League, did you play Nigeria League for passion or for fame or for money?
It's for passion. I mean, at the beginning, it's for passion. Even when I haven't migrated to playing for the league, when I was on the streets playing with boys, playing for my school team, it was all passion. And then it became a part of me. It became something that I can't go on a day without playing football.
Okay.
So, like that, I grew through the process, and then with time, I now figured, okay, this can actually be something greater, so. And then I got lucky from secondary school. I got to play for a club side, and then I kept growing through the ranks, and voila, it was just one step at a time, from one pedestal to the other, and then I traveled abroad, and yeah.
Okay, so you actually played football for passion. To many, they play for fame. To many, they play for money. Now, I believe everything should work together. You're playing for passion, you should be getting paid. From research, I am meant to understand that many teams or some teams in Nigeria league, the female league, they don't pay their players salaries. How those players take they survive?
Oh,
I won't put you for some of those players' shoes, even as you get passion to play.
Yeah.
How player will take survive when they know they pay them salary?
See, I think now, I'm seated here telling you from beginning it was passion, and then with time, it became something more. But the truth is, being a professional footballer, you hardly have time. Mostly in this country, you hardly have time for anything else.
Okay.
Do you understand? It's not a sport that, you can somewhere else. I've had a fair share of what it feels like playing here and what it feels like playing there. I know for a fact that over there, they create an enabling environment for you to combine football
and schooling,
or football and work.
Part-time job.
And work. Do you understand? So if football is not giving you enough, women's football,
you can switch.
No. I was going to say, the pay is not all that lucrative, so you can get a side hustle to make up and all of that. But in this country, I don't think we have that enabling environment that can, encourage you to actually combine both, whether education or work.
When are they 2 times a day?
Yeah, exactly. And then if players are doing football all day, all year round, and then you don't get to pay them for 2 months, 3 months, I mean, how do you expect these players to perform? How do you expect them to survive? And 90%, 80% of these players are breadwinners of their families. So, and we have this notion in Nigeria where if you're a professional footballer, the stakes are high, the expectations are high, and all of that. Exactly, you need to meet up to some certain standard of living and all of that. So, and I think, then it was passion for me. But now, judging from what football have become now, a lot of people, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I think that because people have seen the business part of it, how lucrative it is and all of that, they are now venturing into football because of the financial benefit and all of that. But you can't say it's the same for us, back in the days and all of that. So, you really can't, distinguish from when you're playing it for passion, or if you're playing it for the long game.
When did you think or believe, or you told yourself that, yes, I am ripe enough, it is time for me?
I think it was when I was in Delta, because even before that time, before I went to Delta, I was in Bielsa, Queens. I got a couple of offers to travel abroad. I got like 2 or 3 different offers to play in Sweden. For whatever reason, I was reluctant. I didn't really understand what was at stake. So I didn't understand how big it was and everything. I was just laid back about it. Any offer that came that time, I would say no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Then I went to Delta, and before I went to Delta, it was after the Under-17 World Cup in 2008, the maiden edition in New Zealand. And then I came back, I moved to Delta. And then when I moved to Delta, I enrolled in Delta State Polytechnic. I was still doing my ND, I think ND2 then. And then I got this offer after the second Under-20 World Cup in 2012 in Japan. So I now got this offer from Russia. I was like, Desire, you're in school and this offer is here. What are you going to do? You want to go to school? And I'm like, and all those other time I was, turning down this other offer. I wasn't in school and I was turning it off, those offers down. And now you're in school, you have something to keep you in the country, and I would want to see through my education and all of that. And you want to go? Are you okay? I sat myself down. I had a whole long time thinking, thought about it and everything. But at the end of the day, I had to defer. I deferred my education and said, okay, let me take up on this one. It helps. No.
I was only joking with that.
It helps a great deal, trust me, because you won't play football forever. Honestly, it's only for a period of time, and then after that, what next? Sometimes we put our money to good use and all of that, establish a business that we might not.
Your education for that, for that deal, and you went to Russia.
Yeah, I went to Russia, and then ever since then, I've never looked back.
Amen. For you. Yeah. So, Desire, we know you play Bielsa, you play Rivers Delta Queens, sorry, and from there you enter national team like Super Falcons. When you enter Super Falcons, I won't make you compare Super Falcons invitation of then and Super Falcons of invitation of now. Back then, there must have been some qualities where you exhibit, some things where you don't do, some things where you they do before them go invite you. So what will be the difference of invitation into the Super Falcons of then and now?
Well, then, I mean, when I got my first call up to the national team, it was I think Sani Lulu. Okay. Sani Lulu was the then NFF president. Okay. Yeah. And then it was purely merit. You know, it was purely merit.
Are you trying to say it is not?
That's not what I'm saying, but
okay,
but then if you look at how things were then and how it is in the past 3-4 years, where I mean I criticized it that time, not because I wasn't invited at that time, but because you know, someone tried to discredit my form. You know, I was in my team playing week in, week out.
When you were in France?
Yes.
You were in France and you were doing well.
Yes.
And you were not invited.
Playing week in, week out, and then the reason you have to give for not inviting me is for me to work harder. And then how do you now explain inviting people, not even just the player, players without team,
players that are unattached,
yes, to any club,
and you were in France doing extremely well?
Thank you. You know, so I mean, ordinarily I shouldn't have said anything, because I mean it's not a permanent spot for anyone in the national team. We have 1,000,001 players everywhere, you know, doing well every other week and all of that. But for you to like come out to say I need to, you know, work harder, improve my game and all of that, it was I mean a letdown on my personality and what I've, you know, given to the country over the years and all. So I had to like defend that, and then I had to ask, how do you explain inviting players that are unattached to a team and all of that? So back to your question. The Super Falcons of that time, during all those years, I mean, it was not a fight per se, but it was a competition. Rather, we gave coaches tough time to, you know, make selections and all of that. We don't even know who's going to play in the next game and all of that. That's how competitive it was then. But now it's almost certain that even when you're not doing well in your club, and it's automatic and all of that. And that's why a lot of people don't understand why when we're playing other African countries, they expect the Super Falcons of those days to still do magic in this time and age. Because I mean, you don't expect the team to still do so well when there are a lot of, you know, factors that exactly. People should also consider that as well.
Desire, sorry, sir, I caught you. When you were coming into the national team, the Super Falcons, was there any sort of pressure on you? Because before you came in, we had the almighty Messi Akide, Perpetua Onkwocha, Vera Okolo, Stella Mbachu, the big names. Now, you coming into the national team there, was there any sort of pressure on you to either replicate who they were or to do more?
No, there was no pressure whatsoever. There was no pressure. Me particularly, getting into the senior team, I could still remember 2010, Perpetua was still an active member of the team, Stella Mbacho, Precious Dede, you know, they were all there. I think Epo was she was still part of the team at that time. I was opportune to, you know,
to have played with them.
Yes, and all of that. There was no pressure basically, because I mean they carried us along. You know, they wanted us to integrate into the team and grow and everything. And getting into the team, I mean, we were not starters. I was even happy sitting on the bench and watching my seniors, do their thing. I would just sit on the bench and be admiring them. Well, the first time I got my first senior cap, I was like, whoa, are you going to, when coach said, Desire, go and warm up, I was like, really, me? I was like, no. I was not ready. I was enjoying sitting on the bench and watching my seniors play and all of that. So that's how, Precious Dede, she was the captain at that time. She carried everyone along, and she made sure that every young player in that team at that time felt comfortable. We were all welcomed, felt comfortable, and we were well taken care of. So it was just a good experience at that time.
Desire, no vex. No vex. If you didn't play football, do you think you would have gotten to the level you are today?
Well, if I'm totally honest, I don't know, because the thing about this life is you can't really tell what the future holds for anybody.
True.
Yeah, maybe if I didn't play football, maybe there is another profession that I probably would have, excelled better in. You really can't tell what life holds, for anyone. But the one thing I've always believed is, irrespective of, the walks of life you find yourself, if you're destined for greatness will find you either way.
Come again. Come again. If you are destined for greatness. Greatness
will find you either way, irrespective of what
you're doing.
Walks of life. Yeah, you find yourself. Yeah, that has always been my belief. And playing football, doing sports makes it a lot more fun, for me, in terms of when you talk about the fame, how football generally brings us together as a nation. That's one thing that we don't discriminate against when we're playing football, but when we're doing anything else, we now remember you're Yoruba, you're Hausa, you're Igbo. But when we're playing football, nobody cares. We're Nigeria. Do you understand? Yeah.
When was the time? Make I even speak pidgin self. When be the time where you use your mouth or you use your hand, you use your mind to tell yourself, say, it is time for me to quit?
Yeah. I've been considering it for like 2-3 years before now.
Okay.
Yeah. I've always known I'll quit in 2023.
Why did you choose 2023?
Because first, I wanted to quit at 30. Okay. The only difference, I've said it before, the only difference is I announced my retirement 3 months earlier. Okay. I wanted to quit maybe after my birthday in December.
Okay.
Yeah, at 30. That's when I wanted to quit, because I want to have time to do other things. Because one thing playing professional football doesn't allow you to do is other things. Like, you hardly have time for other things. True. Football life is so regimented that you can't do anything else. It's rigid. They will dictate to you when you have to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, what you have to eat, training time, and all of that. So, having played professional football all these years, and I haven't really had time to do other things, and said, okay, I'm just going to have to play up until this time so that I'll have time to, focus on other things.
This one, it is kind of private.
Okay.
In fact, not be private, safe. As a lady, not you, when is it the right time for a lady to stop playing football? Not like you already talked about yourself. That is your personal decision. You decided to stop at 30. But normal, when is it the right time for a lady to stop playing football?
Well, I don't think this is my opinion. I don't think there's any time as right for anyone, either male or female. But you said for a lady, I don't think there's a particular time for a lady to stop football.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can play for as long as your body allows you. It's an individual thing, basically. And another thing I say to people is, I mean, when some people want to, try to bring up some sort of not so comfortable conversation with some players that don't want to retire and all of that. This is what I always tell them. I'm like, see, age is
just a number.
It's just a number. It's a factor.
As long as your body is
you understand?
Very, very active.
It's the state of the mind that keeps you performing. Do you understand? So irrespective of how old you are and all of that, and even if you like be 50, for as long as you still bring something to the table, that people should also consider that as well. You get age shouldn't be a factor.
So what next for Desire Oparanozie?
Oh, what's next? Desire Oparanozie. Currently I'm focusing on, my foundation is there. I'm going to put more of my time in it to, give back basically, and then also, I'm going to have to focus more on studies, family, and business as well. But whatever I'm doing, be rest assured that I'll still be around football.
Yeah, that's nice. I think we've come to the tail end of the first episode, the part 1 with Desire Oparanozie. But before I go, she's still there. I still want to tell her about 99 apartments. They happen to be the proud sponsors of this particular episode, and every of my weekend, the 99 apartments, me and my family, and I would like to tell on Desire Oparanozie.
Next weekend, would they go there together?
For 99 apartments, and this place, security wise, light wise, everything balanced for there, and no get stress at all. So if you as a person, you feel like relaxing, and don't forget, December don't already they reach. Anybody when they come back from abroad, 99 apartments na place to be. So just stay tuned and make on our wait for our part 2 when they come back.